If what you're doing is not bringing forth certain results, then you gotta check what you're doing and make sure that's right.
And when you pray for healing, don't imagine yourself being sick.
What components of prayer do you think is needed to get results? Now, moving on to the second question. The second question is a very interesting question. It's building on to that very first question, but this is going to those who want to dedicate themselves to going to the church and living a life of prayer and so forth. And the question is, I keep praying, but I'm never receiving a miracle. That is, so in that question, what to do? Act, react, how? What should I do in that situation?
Well, you have to understand the scripture. I think it's in Mark 11:24 that talks about you must believe first that you already have received it and it shall be yours. So not like, and when you pray for healing, don't imagine yourself being sick. You contradict yourself a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So when you do pray, it's about understanding that you don't lack anything. You already have it.
Yeah.
It's already there. You're already healed. And it's about staying in that state and mindset that I already have what I've prayed for, regardless of what the outer world may say. So I think it's about dying to the reality world and living to what I've prayed for.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
You can't have back and forth conflictions. Am I gonna get healed? Am I healed? You can't have that.
So if you keep praying and you're not receiving a certain miracle, what do you think?
I would check back in scripture because there is a verse where it talks about your motives are wrong.
Yeah.
You gotta ask yourself why you're praying for this.
Yeah.
That's what I do, and check like what's the reason behind I want this and stuff like that. Is if this is like aligned with God's will or is it just my own plans?
Yeah.
I guess like I would question like with that first, and then also probably increase more knowledge about it.
Yeah.
Just in case like I lack knowledge in certain areas, and that's probably what's holding me back, why I'm not getting certain results in certain part of life.
Yeah. That's a good point. Check your motive. And this is a very interesting question because a lot of the guys that call themselves Christians, a lot of people that call themselves believers, a lot of people that we've become so used to not getting results, and that's become the norm. So we've gotten used to, okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep praying for this for the next 10, 20 years and so forth. And it's just a routine, you know. And what I want to challenge you to do is I want to challenge you to first check, because we talked about before. We said if what you're doing is not bringing forth certain results, then you gotta check what you're doing and make sure that's right. Because if doing the same thing and not getting and expecting a different result is foolishness, then we must be applying the same concept in prayer. What is your idea of prayer? What does prayer look like? What components of prayer do you think is needed to get results? How are results manifested? Do you have an understanding? Because I bet you that the average person does not have an understanding how prayer works. So if you have no understanding of how something works, can you pilot that very thing? No, you can't. If I told you to get into a plane and I told you, look, the pilot that's going to be piloting a plane today has never studied a plane. He's trying it for his first time. Or even if I said he was trying it for his 100th time, but he doesn't have his license. He's just trying it on, trial and error. Your confidence will not be with that pilot. It's the same way that your confidence when it comes to prayer is not there, because it's just trial and error. We've been trialing and error with our prayers for years now. How about we stop trialing and error, stop praying as a whole, and take a few steps back and say, what am I praying for first? What is my motive? What is the art of prayer? And someone might say, no, never stop praying. Well, guess what? You can keep praying the way you're praying, but if it's not getting you to the results, then you must go back and examine what you're doing. And this is not a room for condemnation. It is a room for improvement. You must go back and check the roots. If you see that the tree is not sprouting, you must track it back to the roots. You must track it back to the seed. You must track it back to the soil. It is the same concept when it comes to prayer. And so for those of you out there who's been praying and never getting answers, return back to understanding what is prayer. What is it? And don't tell me dad said, pastor said, mom said. That's their understanding of prayer. What is your understanding of prayer? Have you done your study? Because the result is not their result, it's your result. You are the one after the result. But I guarantee you, if you go back and just go back to the very start of it, to the foundation of it, why do I pray? Ask yourself even that. Why do you pray? How do you pray? When do you pray? And these are the questions we've never asked. We've never studied it. See, the average human struggles not because they have not, but because they ask not. And when they do ask, they don't know how to ask. So it's a problem of knowledge, lack of knowledge thereof. So everything comes back. And that's why there's a scripture that says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
We've become so used to not getting results, and that's become the norm. What components of prayer do you think is needed to get results?